The BBC has uncovered new evidence of the violent tactics being used against civilians in the Darfur region of Sudan. Last week, the United Nations reported that several refugee camps had been surrounded by Sudanese security forces and that tens of thousands of people were relocated against their will. Over 30,000 refugees were removed from one camp near Nyala. The UN's envoy to Sudan has told the BBC there is clear evidence of a criminal act at the camp. Fergal Keane is the only television journalist there, and he sent us this report.
As if a whirlwind had swept out of the desert. This is destruction caused by authorities who tell the world they want to protect their people. Today, the beaten and the dispossessed were struggling to reclaim what they could. The police came at 3 in the morning, smashing the tiny huts, herding families into lorries. Tear gas and shots were fired. Women and children assaulted. This woman was pregnant. After we were beaten and tear gassed, she says, I started to bleed. The baby came and it died. Here people were recovering scraps of their grain. Food supplies were burned, belongings looted, a vital UN water facility destroyed. At this medical centre, patients were terrorised, doctors threatened at gunpoint. This nurse has worked in Lebanon and Iraq.
How did she find the food and water in the last few days? What has she done?
The plight of Sudan's displaced is the worst thing she's seen.
Where are our human values here, you know? And I find that very hard to understand how we have left that behind. And I really, honestly appeal to the humanity in people to please give these people some of their dignity back.
For the women of Darfur, dignity is stolen in many ways. The UN is trying to confirm reports of an upsurge in sexual violence in the camps near Nyala. This woman told us a policeman beat her 10-year-old son and then raped her. We were told that if we did not leave here, we would be attacked again and raped again until we did leave. One reason the government wants to move these people is because it fears camps which are close to town could be infiltrated by rebels. The UN is now trying to find out if the operation was ordered locally or by the central government.
If they took the decision in Khartoum, then they are not only stupid, but they also then, well, criminal in terms of carrying out activities which are totally in conflict with what we did agree upon for humanitarian reasons. But it can be that over-ambitious or completely partisan local authorities were just not listening.
This is an extraordinary situation because this is an area where international troops have been deployed, where the United Nations and major international aid agencies are operating. And still, the Sudanese authorities felt they could get away with a major breach of international humanitarian law. They've been made victims many times over, chased from villages to camps and on to other camps. They pray world opinion will prevent any further terror, that tonight they will be safe from attack. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Algier Camp, Darfur.
And first-hand evidence has emerged of the brutality of the Sudanese government towards its own displaced people. The BBC has witnessed Sudanese police attacking some of the 1.7 million refugees driven from their homes in Darfur by the civil war. The BBC's Fergal Keane reports now on what happened at the Algier camp near Nyala.
When we came in the evening, they were burning rubbish, trying to protect their children from disease. Women like Samira, with her baby son Ahmed. They fled here after pro-government militia attacked their village. Samira walked hundreds of kilometers to find safety after her husband and other child were murdered. She and the other widows of Algeria support each other, and they are afraid together. As night falls, they fear attack. They gather around the last of the fires, some comfort in a place where every move in the shadows causes fear. We're afraid of the police, Samira says. We're afraid that they will come and attack and destroy the little food we have left and steal what little money we have.
It's a very... They've got a searchlight.
We hid and watched as the police arrived, the lights of their vehicle searching. Crowded around us, frightened people. The police drove past our hiding place. At dawn, we found out what had happened. Emerging from the shadows, Samira told us she'd taken baby Ahmed and run away. One of the cars came directly at us, says Samira. They smashed down our shelters with their cars, and after that we ran away to hide. We saw how the flimsy shelters had been torn down. And then panic. The police were back. We filmed from a distance as they swept into the camp. A village elder is thrown to the ground and beaten and kicked by the police, while the commander of the operation strolls about, calmly giving orders to his men. Helpless in the face of state power, women taken away from their families. Then tear gas fired at women and children. This mother tries to wash the stinging gas from her screaming baby's eyes. These people sheltering in a garden when they were tear gassed. The UN arrived and briefly the situation calmed. Right in front of our eyes, the police have been raiding houses here. We've seen them beating people, and we've been told by a police commander that they want all of the people to move from here to a new camp. But of course, to attempt to forcibly relocate any displaced population is a clear breach of international law. Then, as the police resumed their brutal clearance, the people tried to fight back. Then, just to the right of the camera, a plastic bullet is fired at the BBC team. In the panic, Samira's baby Ahmed has gone missing. She has no idea where he is. This was a day when the Sudanese government showed the face of raw power, when the international community was left powerless and the most vulnerable defenceless. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Algier Camp, Darfur.
And we should tell you that Samira was reunited with her baby Ahmed.